Okay, so yeah, we're getting to the last part of the training. Introduction to the lab. This is where we're going to be doing our SIEM, and I think the SIEM of choice is Sentinel, Azure Sentinel. So in today's section, we're going to be looking at we're going to be looking at introduction to Azure Cloud. Just in very, I mean, this course is not about Azure, but because we're going to be using Sentinel, which is going to be hosted in Azure. So I just thought I should do a brief introduction, and we're going to be setting up our Azure subscription today. I'm sure more than 2-3 weeks have asked us to set up an Outlook account. So my assumption is we've done it because I did access to it more than 2-3 weeks ago. So all labs are conducted in Azure, so Microsoft Cloud Platform. So yeah, we're going to be basically creating our own lab, which is going to be very hands-on. So for those that are new to cloud, yeah, I just want to say nobody knows everything. There's so many services that run on Azure, AWS, or Google Cloud. So feel free to use ChatGTP if you want to learn about any. Let's say you want to learn about key vaults, any of the services that are running in Azure. Feel free to use ChatGTP if you want to learn more. Anyway, ChatGTP is a very good resource. Anyway, I use it as well. So I use it to learn stuff. So I believe we all know ChatGTP. So some free cloud service. We currently use cloud services now anyways. So for those that use Gmail, Google Docs, Google Drive, Dropbox, iCloud, they are all cloud service or services. So the most common one are Azure and AWS, and they are literally just a platform that will allow you to rent a space in order to store or process your own data. That's what cloud is. So it was just the business guys, they used the name cloud. It looks very fancy, it looks very nice. But actually it's nothing but just a data center where data are stored. But the idea of a cloud is that instead of one person paying for his space, we can spread the cost among many people. So you just pay for your own rather than, for example, when we used to have like on-prem, you have to think about the cost of maintaining it, security, electricity of run. It's just so expensive. But with this cloud now, you could just buy a space. Just like see that like there's so many rooms somewhere and you just bought your own space, just one space. Or if you need more than one space, you can buy. But the idea of the cloud is that you pay for what you use. Basically, that's the idea of cloud. So if you don't need something, you don't pay for it, so which makes sense. Then other paid cloud providers, we have Microsoft Azure, like I said, AWS, Google Cloud as well. This is getting really, really big now. Google GCP, as we call it, it's getting really big. Oracle Cloud infrastructure, that is also getting massively big in the UK. IBM Cloud as well. So these are obviously Microsoft and AWS. They are the ones that everybody knows, but there are other ones like Google as well. Google is coming. It's coming up to really, really, really big. Oracle Cloud as well, and IBM. So what can you do in the cloud? You can do almost anything you think of, really. We'll get to this. There's a lot of overlap between the different providers. Like when I say different providers, I mean AWS or Azure or IBM or Google. Each provider has hundreds of different services. Services means that you could have like different apps that run on AWS or Azure. One of them is you could spin up a Windows Server is a service. You could spin up a Linux server as a service, which we're going to be spinning up some of them. Defenders, such Key Votes, and just so many of them. Even me, I didn't remember everything. But once you finish your subscription, you can just play around. But we are only focusing on 4 or 5 services, I think, in this course. But feel free to explore and know more about other services. So nobody knows how to use all the different services. Not even people who work there is interested. Even those that work in AWS or Azure, Microsoft, they don't know all the services. You only know what you need to know, basically. But again, feel free to explore. But there's no way you can use all the services. That's what that means. So how does it work? Basically, we have a server here, we have a VM. This is Azure, and the concept of cloud again is you can do pay as you go. Basically, if you spin up a server, let's say that server hosts your web application, you can, when you don't turn that service on, then you are not paying for it. So that's one good thing about cloud. Whereas during the days of on-prem, there's no way you can turn it off. So of course you can turn it off, but that means that service is not going to be accessible. Or in the cloud, you only pay if you think, oh, I only need, and you don't have to worry about um, electricity, how to run the cost, how to all of those stuff. So you don't have to worry about it because the cost of maintaining it is spread across different people. So it's not overwhelming to one person. That's one good thing about the cloud. So it's really interesting because yeah, there's an argument. People say cloud is cheaper. Depends on what you think. Honestly, to be honest, depends. Depends on how many services you are running. Depends on how long they have to be running for, and depends on what you are running. Basically, it depends on how much data, how much size, and all of those things. So there's a lot that goes into it. But but I think the good side of cloud is that it's very easy in terms of usage because you don't have to worry about so many things in terms of how you spin up things, what you need to spin up, and there's so many resources, tons of resources that can be used. So that's one good thing about cloud. What can you do in the cloud? You can do literally anything, really. Anything you can think of. So, looks like I've shown this before. Okay, yeah. So creating Azure subscription and first result. So we're going to be looking at creating our subscription. If we have our Outlook emails, can you put it in the chat just so I can see? Because I asked us to create Outlook or Hotmail account. So just confirm in the chat if you've done it. So let's see. Ebele, thank you. Who else has done it? Who else has created that? Because we need that today to progress. Thank you, Esther. Ebele and Esther. Anyone else? Said Lightning. So we have Said, Esther, Lightning. 4 people. How many people we have in class today? We have 10. So Moses and the rest of the guys are there. So we only have 4 people set up their Outlook. All right, we work with those. So what do we need? Requirements. You need a computer with internet connection. We will need a credit card as well. I did mention that as well. So basically, don't worry. You only need the credit card to just so because Microsoft want people to identify themselves. They are not going to charge you if you don't use the resources. They are not charging you. So, but we need a credit card. That's really important today. If anyone has got any issue with credit card, let me know. But yeah, you will need it because that's going to identify you as a person. So, so yeah. So this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be having a tenant. So that's what we in cloud terminology we call it tenant, but it's just an organization. See it like an organization. So we can say, for example, we can say we have like side organization, Ibele, or God, I don't know how we're going to do it. You need a credit card to set up your Azure subscription. I'm not sure how we'll go to that, but let's take that offline. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Okay, but you need a credit card, a sort of credit card to. They're not going to charge you though, but you need it to identify yourself to set up the subscription. So we'll come back to that. So we have a tenant. So this is how our Azure structure is going to look like. We have a tenant, then we have a subscription. That subscription is just a way to segregate things within your estate. Again, they are different terminologies that they use. They can call it tenant, they can call it estate, but they mean the same thing. So tenant is an organization or estate. Whereas a subscription is just what separates. Let's say you have like 3 or 4 department within your organization or within your tenant. You want to put them in, depend on what you want to do. There's a lot that goes into it in terms of architecture, the architecture of the cloud. Well, all depends on what organization want to do. But smaller organization, they probably have just one tenant and one subscription. But big organization, they have like different one tenant but different subscription. So they can have like subscription A, B, C, and under subscription A, they have like other resources or other team within that. So basically, just see a subscription as a way to separate different departments. In very big organization, they have different subscriptions, but in a small organization, they only have just one subscription. They don't need many subscriptions because you just one. But some organization, they have one organization, but they have different teams or different departments, and they want them to be in a separate subscription. So because subscription, if you have your resource group, which we are going to get into, if you have your resource group in a particular subscription, then everybody in that subscription can see each other basically. So it's just like you have uh you have a flat, and in one flat, let's say 2 bedroom flat, you have your living area and all of this. So in that flat, everybody can see each other. See the next flat as another subscription. So if you have just one flat, subscription A, for example, everybody in that flat, they can see themselves. So that's how subscription works. It's just a way to separate things and make it more tidy, more cleaner. But if it's a small organization, then they will just have one subscription anyway. But bigger organization, they do have different subscriptions. So again, we're going to be having resource group. So resource group is like a folder. So you just like you have your desktop. So on in your desktop, you can create multiple folders and put your stuff in different folders. You can have like folders A, folder B, folder C, and put things in there just to make it look very tidy. That's why we have like resource group. So you can have like in one resource group, you can have like your Windows server, your Linux server, your Active Directory, your Defender, whatever. Then in another group or in another resource group, you have different stuff. Again, it's just to It's just to make it look tidy, make it look neat, so everybody can make it well structured. I think that's the right word there. So make it just structured, tidy, neat, look very good. That's why that is the point of the resource group. So we're going to be creating Azure VNet. So VNet is the virtual network. So now we're gonna be getting to serious business. So I need people to concentration, all your concentration. Any questions, let me know. So this is the real deal, really. So because this is an introduction to the cloud and getting into SIM and whatnot. So I'm going to copy this page. As you go. So I'm going to be pasting this. But 1 second. Let me copy this link and put. This is what we'll need. So I'm going to need someone who can help me. So who can drive this? I'll put it in chat. But I need someone that has a credit card. Who can? Abele, you can just watch it for now, and we can. So that's the link. You call me, and then go back to where I'll come back to that. So yeah, we need to use pay as you go account, please. This is Azure portal, so portal.azure.com, that is the URL. And once we finish our installation, whatnot, this is how it's going to look like. The first, once we have everything set up, this is my own account. You can see my name at the top right. These are all the services which we're going to run through, and you can see my subscription, my resource group, all those fancy stuff which we're going to get into. Yeah, we're going to be setting up the subscription now. But before we get into that, anyone has any questions apart from a Billy that doesn't have credit card, which we'll catch up with her later. Any questions on this before we get into the setting up the account itself, looking through the portal and whatnot? Any question from anyone? Questions from anybody? Okay, there's no question. We're good. That's all right there. So, who wants to help me to run through this? I don't want to call names, so I want a volunteer. Someone that has a credit card that can share his or her screen.